So what are the plans? April 5th. So what are the plans? What are you going to do?
I am going to
be at home, vacation. You know something? Being at home, you can observe a lot of things. Watch a lot of movies. Movies. So I think everybody wants to be a screenplay writer, I suppose. I'm going to ignore video games. Ma'am is going to pretend as if ma'am didn't see the video games. Spend time with the family. US. Board games is fine. Okay. So, what do you think are the qualities which is required for a writer? What do you think like a writer needs? Let me ask you first, why are we here today? Why are we assembled here for a meeting? Okay, for what? What is the purpose of the meeting? Purpose. Very good. To learn to write a story, isn't it? Learn to write a story. Arjun Chitresh doesn't know what we have come here. Author's purpose. So who is an author? Who is a writer? I am very much sure everybody has ideas, isn't it? Okay. Ma'am got it, okay? Ma'am got it. So why we have assembled here today is to learn to convert your ideas into stories. Yeah, person who writes stories, creator. Okay. Podcast is a different thing. Who said podcast? Who said? Arjun Chitras. Podcast is a different thing. Podcast is audio, right? It's something like, a personal, where you sit in your comforts of your house, where you record your ideas, your stories. You tell the world your stories through audio. Is podcast. But being a writer, being an author is different. So everybody may not subscribe to your podcast, but maybe like a book. Yeah, okay. Done. Ma'am is going to say something. You can stop writing. Okay. You can stop writing. I'm going to say something. Okay. Give me a thumbs up if it's clear. Yeah. So a writer or an author. So it's different from a podcaster. A podcaster is somebody like me who talks. Right now I'm talking to you guys, right? I'm talking to you about an idea. So a podcaster is different and a writer is different. And you must have read a lot of children's book. I'm sure you're familiar with Roald Dahl. Charles Dickens, Mark Twain. So all these are fabulous writers. But did they start writing books all of a sudden? No, right? So what we need to do as writers, what we need to write to convert our ideas into stories is what we are going to discuss today. So before that I want you to say few favorite places in Chennai. What are your favorite places in Chennai? Mall, beach, museum, zoo, theater. So wait a second. Okay, I want to address something which you guys said before. So ma'am is not against anyone playing video games. But the problem with video games is you are stuck in a place, isn't it? You're stuck in a place and you talk to your friends through chat. And what does a writer need? A writer needs to go out, see life and the surroundings. Isn't it? Manikan, Pratik, Vedansh, are you able to understand? If you are playing video games, will you able to observe life? No, you will not be able to observe life. And a writer need ideas, isn't it? Writer need ideas. So if you are stuck in a place, you are not going out, you are not interacting with people, you are stuck in one place, you are busy playing video games, will you be able to be an entertaining writer? You will only have one story to tell. You will only have one story to tell about video games. After telling that story, your stories are over. You don't have any more stories to tell people. Your ideas are over. Isn't it? And it is good to watch movies. It is good to watch movies. But again, movies are stories which already somebody have written, right? It is already written. So, do we get ideas and new ideas by watching movies? No, we will not get, because this is somebody else's story. Somebody has already written a story and you are keep on watching it. So everybody has ideas to tell people. How many of you write journals? Very good. It is okay. See, 2024, no? It's a new year and summer holidays are coming up. Sometimes it's fine because we won't have to write in a journal every day. You don't have to write every day because we may not have events. We will be busy with our studies. We are busy hanging out with our family. So you don't have to write your journal every day. But I want you to start writing your journal. I want all of you to have a book for yourself. In that book, I want you to write what you feel, like how you feel towards a person, what you're feeling. And just now you said for summer holidays you guys are going to hang out a lot, right? Some said they are going to be at home. Home is also a good place to write journal because you will have your family members, you will have some interaction with them. You can write down how you feel in a journal. So how many of you are going to promise me you are going to start a journal this summer? Very good, thank you. So this is the first stage of a writer. A writer needs to start journaling his or her emotions. Will you remember this point? So you need to journal. What all you need to journal in your book? You need to write your emotions, how you feel, and also what you are observing. An author needs to, exactly, what happened in a day you can write. You have to write your emotions and also what happened in a day, special events. They've said special events. When you're going for a wedding, when you're meeting your cousins, when you're going to the zoo, everything you need to write it down. Just now you said, no, there are so many favorite places in Chennai for you to visit. Whenever you're visiting those places, I want you to come back and write your emotions, how you felt about it. Festivals, temple festivals, church festivals. And how are you going to write as an author? First I said you need to write your emotions. No, that's what ma'am is going to say. First we have to write our emotions, how we felt, whether we felt excited. Sometimes when you go to a festival and if it's overcrowded, we won't enjoy it, isn't it? We feel suffocated. We feel like, it's too much of crowd. Sometimes you like being in the crowd. So not only memorable events, you can write all sorts of emotions. So what are all the emotions which you go through? Is it only happiness and sadness? Happy, sad, joy, disgusted, surprised, anxiety, scared, ecstatic, anger, very good. So fear, anger, nervousness are also emotions, right? Jealousy, correct, embarrassed. Sometimes when Amma kisses you in front of your friends, you might feel a little bit embarrassed, isn't it? When Amma tries to comb your hair in front of your friends, when Amma ruins your spike. So these are like, you feel embarrassed. Amma, what are you doing? I'm not a small child anymore, you will tell Amma, right? So you feel little bit embarrassed. So all these are emotions. So all these you can write. You need not write every time happiness, only happiness, good events. So journal is a book where you can write not only your happiness, or when you are feeling sad or disgusted or anger, you can write your embarrassing moment, because the journal can be like a secret keeper. Journal keeps your secret, and that is the best place to practice your writing. Isn't it? You can practice your writing, you can make mistakes, you can strike it off, you can rewrite it. Nobody is going to ask you like, what is the spelling for this, or why did you write a wrong spelling in a journal? Because journal is your personal book where you write your emotions. And unlike Vishant has a doubt, does not ask more about, yeah, exactly. So journal is a good listener, isn't it? Journal is a good listener. How many of you feel it's a good listener? Because it's like, you can pour out your heart, you can pour out whatever content which comes in your mind into a journal. So I want all of you to start writing, and it is completely fine if you don't write every day. But will you forget your friend? No, right? Even if 2-3 days you won't speak to your friend also, you will say, oh, I need to talk to my friend. So you need to go back to your journal and fill it up. Can you do that? So you are all going to be aspiring writers. So as aspiring writers, I want you to start writing your journal. And just now we discussed a lot of emotions. I want you to write down whatever you're feeling throughout the summer holidays, and I need you to continue doing it, writing your emotions in the journal. Not only happy events like, going to the festival with your parents or going, it's fine. It's completely fine. You can tell others that, this is my book. The portions which I want to read it out, I will read it out to you. What do you need to tell others? This is my book, this is my journal. The portions which I am going to read it out to you, only you can hear. Correct? Because sometimes we want to share certain things with our parents and siblings, isn't it? Or cousins. And you can say, see, I wrote something very interesting in my journal and I want to read it out to you. So those portions you can read it out. Other portions you can keep it to yourself. And you should tell, it should be a special decorated book. You should tell, this is my journal and Amma, Appa, don't read it. And if someone reads it, it's fine, I feel. Okay. Exactly. Avyukta is saying it's like a guardian. It listens to you, because the biggest thing about a journal is listening. So that comes to the other point which ma'am wants to say. You are all going to be aspiring writers. So as writers, I want you to develop 2 skills. One is observing. I want you to observe. So what is observing? Imagine yourself in a park. You are in a park and I want you to think what all you are observing there and write it down quickly in the chat. Take a moment to think what all you will be observing there in a park. Yeah, but I want specific. Like what are the things which we see in a park? Trees, people, children. So people, again, can you describe or elaborate what people are? Different type of people will be there, no? Advika has a doubt, so I will just address to that. See, you can always tell others like, this is my journal and these are my stories. Who is Advika here? I can't see her. Yeah, so if you can tell them, see, we can only tell people this is our private book, this is my journal, this is my stories. So you can tell them to respect our privacy, isn't it? But what if someone doesn't listen? What can we do? So what we can do is like, maybe a sibling might read it. You can tell, I'm not going to write big secrets here, but don't do it. You have to be assertive. So this is something else, okay? So this is something else where you have to be assertive. When someone does something which we don't like, we can be assertive. Okay, see, I've told you not to read my journal. First of all, you read my journal. And the second thing is you told everyone about what I have written in it. So don't do it next time. Okay, you have to be assertive. I am getting a lot of doubts. Don't bring it to school. Don't bring it to school. Keep it in your house. Journal, keep it in your house. Okay. So by the end of the day or the end of the week, you can fill it up. Keep it in your house, in your study table, among your books. Keep it safely. Fine? Don't bring it to school. Don't show it your, I wrote in my journal, I wrote this. Then someone will take it. Then someone will read the pages which you don't want to share. So don't bring it to school. This is for summer holidays. Keep it in your house. Keep journaling. Yeah, exactly. Avyut has helped me in saying one point. So, which brings to the topic which I was saying, observation. So, you were saying when you are going to a park, you said you will see a lot of people. But can you describe these people for me? Like what are they wearing? What are they doing? On a phone. Unfortunately, most of the grown-ups are on phone, isn't it? Children who are playing, some are in formal dress. Vedangsh, Pratiksh or someone is sleepy in my class. Someone is yawning. Sports, yeah. So these are the things. So these are the things which you have to write when you are in a place. So this is what an author does. You need to observe things around you. You have to observe what are they wearing, what are they doing, what age group are there. Sometimes there are elderly people also, right? Senior citizens. Correct. So when you are observing, an author will not generalize and observe. An author will have to observe details. This is called details. Are you able to follow me? So details will be, I'll be saying, see, I'm observing you guys. So what you're wearing, green shirt, blue trousers. So, Avyuk, there, like a little girl with the white hairband. So these are details. Details about people. So next time when you are in a beach, I want you to observe people, and I want you to observe people in detail. Can you do that? Either write it in the chat, or can you quickly write it in your notebook? Imagine you are in a beach and quickly write down all the people who are there in the beach. With details I want. Can you do that? Yeah, people running here from the waves. Quickly write down. You are imagine yourself in Chennai beach. Many said they like to go to the beach. So I want you to observe people, but with details. I want age, what age they are. Some people are cleaning the beach. Lot of yummy food. But Advika, I want details. I want what all are the yummy food you are seeing there. Playing in the beach. Playing in the beach, yeah, playing in the sand is more detailed. So Vishan said playing in the sand. That is more details. Spring potato, very good. Corn we will get to see. Some are sleeping. You get to eat watermelon. Vishan in a chair. In the chair. What in the chair? I need details. In the chair only you wrote. Yeah, children.
Sorry, I was sleeping in the chair.
Sleeping on the chair. Okay. Balloon shooting. Very nice. So you are able to follow now. See, now you are giving me details. Children playing in the water. Ring game. Middle-aged people surfing. Fishes you meant? Vedansh, fishes you meant? Yeah, some are walking their dogs. So all these points which you told me in the chat, I want you to go home, or after the session I want you to write it in sentences. Okay? So right now you are giving me one words. So will a person be an author if he or she can write in one word? No. You need to make sentences. So all these things which you told me, I want you to write it into sentences. Okay, now I want you to do another exercise with me. An author means someone who observes, right? But there is one more quality an author has. Someone who listens. So what are the sounds which you are hearing in a beach? All the sounds. Waves, shouting, waves crashing, sound of the wind, very nice Dev. People talking, people shouting. Bell sound. Sanvi has written bell sound, very true. When the cotton candy guy comes with the bell sound, right? The peanut seller. Birds chirp. Avyukt, does birds chirp in a beach? Leaves rustling. Where? In a beach. Yelling sound. Dev has written stepping on plastic bottles. I want to see Dev now. Where is Dev? Where is he? Unfortunately, we are stepping on plastic and the plastic bottle sound comes, no? Then what else? Bell sound. That's a very good observation, okay? Dhanamitran is saying something. Dogs barking, very true. Dogs barking, people shouting, vendors, not people, vendors, okay, vendors asking us to buy food. Shells doesn't have sound, okay, bel puri, grill. So now you're going into the details. So this is what ma'am said about details earlier. Okay, so whatever the food they are selling on the beach, like these are details. Shells cracking, bel puri wala, all this corn person. And corn, there is one more sound, no? When they're frying it, that heat sound will come, no? Correct? Yeah, frying sound will come. When the flames are flying in the wind, one sound will come, isn't it? So as writers, metro work, yeah, that spark sound will come. So next time, when you are in a new place, listen to me now very carefully, okay? You are going to be aspiring writers. You're all going to be aspiring authors. So next time when you're in a beach or a park, the first thing what I want you all to do is observe. Sit and observe what is happening around you. And quickly observe everything. So your eyes are like your camera. Am I right? Your eyes are the best camera. Have you seen people anywhere, like, instead of enjoying a place, suddenly you will take up your mobile and start recording? Is it fun? Is it fun? Like, see, you have your eyes. So the same lens. Our eyes are also having lens, isn't it? So use your eyes as the lens to watch and observe everything what is happening around you. And where are you going to store it? Store the data. You are going to retain the data in your brain. Very good. So you are going to retain it in your mind or in your brain. Correct? In your memory. Correct. So I want you to observe everything. So summer holidays, it can be your house. Even if you don't go out also, even if it's in your house, I want you to, when a guest visits you, what you should do next time? I want you to observe them. When a guest is visiting you, I want you to observe them. And don't be very spooky, okay? Don't observe like a detective. And don't scare the guest. Observe in a very subtle way. Very calmly you sit and you watch what they are doing, what they are saying, and what are they eating, that age group. Elders will be there, youngsters will be there, and what are they wearing. All these things are details. All these things are details. What if it's our enemy? Where is enemy for Vedant? Correct. Observe without disturbing them. Who is your enemy? Tell ma'am, I will bash him up. Tell me who's your enemy. Okay, so coming back to the thing, are you saying about the journal? Are you afraid that someone will read your journal? Is that what you meant by enemy? It's all right, okay. See, you need to, there is a saying, no, keep your enemies closer. Have you heard about that saying? Keep your enemies closer. Because that way you will be able to watch their moves. What they are going to do. There is a proverb, there's a saying, keep your enemies closer to you. Than your friends, you need to keep your enemies closer to you. Then you can watch their moves. What is their next plan? So coming back to what I was saying, you need to write, you need to observe what is happening around you. And now how many of you go, so many of you goes for the movies, right? So can you tell me mall? Can you tell me what all you're observing there? In popcorn settings. Sandy said characters. What characters? Can you elaborate for me? Coca-Cola. Dhana Mitran has said Coca-Cola. So ma'am is going to come to that. Coca-Cola is actually a pesticide. Do you know that? If you drink Coca-Cola, your teeth will get broken. It will become brittle. True. So next time when you are in a mall, I want you to observe everything. And some of you have right now mentioned projector. And there is a game arcade, right? There is a game arcade. So all those things you need to write it down. And I want you to observe everyone and also listen to the sound. Agree? So what you should do first, you should start writing your emotions and your day and events in the journal. Second is observation and listening capacity. See, if you are talking all the time, will you be able to listen to others' story? You have to be a very good listener to be a very good writer. You can share your stories, but if you keep on speaking, will you be able to listen to the others? We cannot live a lot of lives, isn't it? We cannot live a lot of lives. So what we can do, when we are going to buy the vegetable, we can talk to the vegetable Anna, right? Or the Akka who is selling the vegetables. You can talk to her. You can listen to her stories. By listening to her stories, what are you getting? You are able to listen to her life experiences. So when you are going to write a story where there is a vegetable vendor, you can use her story, isn't it? Yeah, content. They've said content. So you will get content by listening to her story and her experiences. So you are stuck in a traffic in a auto. What you can do? You're stuck in a traffic. You're stuck in traffic. Either you can complain about the traffic or else you can talk to the driver. Which one will you do? You'll talk to the, read your books, talk to the auto driver, turn on the radio. Honking doesn't help, isn't it? It's a traffic block. If you honk, only what you can do is you can create more noise pollution. Listen to the music. So listening to the music can be done when we are alone also, isn't it? When we are in some place else. Listening to the music or reading a book. So maybe the driver is not a talkative person. Then you can take out your book and read. And again, when you are stuck in a traffic, one of you said you can read the book. So I want to ask a question. Do you want to read a book or do you want to observe the life which is happening around? Observe. So this is an opportunity to observe, isn't it? Advika is still saying I would prefer to read a book. You can read a book because ma'am is also a bookworm. Ma'am always carries a book in my handbag. Wherever I am going, I carry a book with me because we never know. Sometimes we are going to the dentist. You will be so bored. How much will you observe? You will be bored, isn't it? So what ma'am does it, when I'm going to visit a doctor, there will be definitely queue. There will be you will be asked to wait in the corridor. Or when we are going for a trip, how much will you observe in an airport or a railway station? How much will you observe? So the first thing what I want you to do is observe life around you. First observe and listen life around you. Otherwise you will miss all these opportunities. Exactly my point. First I want you to observe and listen. Once you are done observing and listening, then you take out your book and read, or then you listen to the music. So if we are always listening to the music, what will happen? We are missing out a lot of sounds. We are shutting ourselves from the real world. We are closing ourselves into a small world. We are making our world very small when we are all the time reading a book. So reading a book is we are missing out a lot of exposure. So when we are reading book is good, but anything good also, if we do it in an overdose, in an overly way, that will also harm you. Isn't it? When we are doing it in an it's a vitamins. Vitamin tablets are good. What if we take too many vitamin tablets? Will it be good for us? No. The same way, reading a book, listening to music are good habits. But if we all the time listen to music and if we are all the time reading a book, we are making our world very small. We are shutting ourselves from a lot of real life events. So what I want you to do is observe for a while. Observe for a while what is happening. Is there a fish tank in the dentist clinic? So how many people have come there? A child might be crying inside. How many staff the dentist has? Is he or she a very rude person? Or is the dentist a kind person? Yeah, observe for some time and listen for some time. Then you take out your book and you can read. And if you have your journal with you, best thing what you can do is you can jot it down right then. I am at my dentist clinic and there is a beautiful fish tank aquarium here. How many fishes are there? Like in all the breeds you can ask. You can ask, like you can talk about the people. You can write about the people who have come there and keep it back in your tote bag or your backpack or whatever you're carrying. You can keep it back. So you can carry your journal also. So journal can be used like that also. One journal for outdoor observation, because Ruskin Bond, everybody is familiar with Ruskin Bond, isn't it? Ruskin Bond, what he does it, he goes for walks. He sits in a cafe in Shimla, Dehradun. He observes life. He observes life around him. And that's the way he writes. R.K. Narayanan is another topic which I am going to come now. So observation and listening now you understood. So now I want to ask you, what is the difference between imagination and creativity? Want to know the difference? Imagination and creativity. Creativity is doing it. Okay. So imagination is something which you are imagining things, you are dreaming, daydreaming. If this happens, that will happen, then this happens, then all those is imagination. All those are imagination. Exactly. There is no end for imagination, isn't it? There is no end for... Vishant, you are yawning in my class and I think you are going to have a snack without me. Do a dance step for me. The one in orange shirt. If you're sleepy, do a dance step for me. So, where was I? I forgot where was I. Come on, let me see whether you are listening to me. Where was I? Yeah, so imagination doesn't have any end, isn't it? Imagination doesn't have any end. You can imagine a lot of things. You are sitting in the car going with your parents for a wedding. In the car, you can imagine a lot of things. It is endless. Whereas creativity means it needs a result. It needs a beginning, middle, and end. Both can be used anytime, creativity and imagination, but imagination is like endless. But creativity means, see, you are trying to write a story. I want an end for it. Can you keep on writing a story forever? I want an end, there should be a conclusion. What is happening to your characters? Did they get the goal? Did they achieve it? Correct, right? So creativity means, Avyukt feels creativity doesn't need an end. Creativity means you need an end result. So you're drawing a painting. There should be a beginning, middle and end when you are being creative. So imagination, everybody has imagination. But creativity means an author needs creativity. He cannot forever keep on writing a story, isn't it? Who is waiting for your story? If you are an author, when you are going to be authors, writing stories, who is waiting for your story? A publisher is going to wait for your story. Readers. But before readers, there is a publisher. Somebody should publish your story, isn't it? Audience, Dhanamitran, audience is for watching. Readers will be, publisher. The publisher is waiting for your story. Even when you are writing children's stories, there are a lot of children who write amazing stories. And there are a lot of publishers who want to take up your stories. Illustration is different. So, by the way, when Dhanamitran said illustrator, I want to ask how many of you draw as well as write stories? That is Dhanamitran. Who is raising your hand? I want 3 people are there on screen. Advika, sometimes. You can even do doodling. Okay, there is something called doodling. Are you aware of it? You can even do doodling. You don't have to be an excellent artist like Chitra ma'am. Do you know Chitra ma'am draws beautifully? Are you aware of it? She is excellent. She can just look at you and draw you. So even if you are not as a professional and excellent drawer like Chitra ma'am, you can even doodle. So what is the plus point of doodling? Calligraphy, there is different, okay? Let's not go into calligraphy. Let's stick with, right now this illustration topic has come. So let's stick with illustration. So if you're writing stories and if you can doodle a little bit or if you can draw a little bit, that'll be fabulous. Because you can write your own story and you can, little bit illustrations you can do in your book. So that will be very good. Because you are telling your story to, are you aware about A.A. Milne? A.A. Milne, Christopher Robin? Winnie the Pooh. Who is the writer for Winnie the Pooh? Winnie the Pooh, Pooh Bear. Pooh Bear, that yellow bear which wears a red t-shirt and walks around, no? So Winnie the Pooh character was created by A.A. Milne. He is a British writer Ma'am will introduce him, okay? So A. Milne had a friend called E.H. Shepard. E.H. Shepard used to illustrate all of his stories. Yeah, British author. Milne has wonderful children's poems. You should read his poems, okay? And Christopher Robin was his son. And Winnie the Pooh was his son's teddy bear. So A. Milne's books was illustrated by his best friend E.H. Shepard. So if you have a friend who draws and if you write stories, you can of course all the time you can ask help, right? You can ask your friend, can you please help me illustrate my book? So illustration is covered, I think. You should, if you are illustrating, it will be fabulous, you know, whatever. Yeah, team effort is needed. So I was telling you about imagination and creativity. So always you have to, when an idea comes to you, when a story comes to you, you have to think about how will my story end. What will you think? How will my story end? So you will not get an immediate answer. You will have to think, you know, how will it end? How do I want it to end? Do I want it to be a sad ending? I took a lot of help from Chitra ma'am because we studied in college together. So that is another story ma'am will tell you. Chitra ma'am is an excellent person, you know, who does live drawing. So coming back to creativity, I want you to think. No, Advika, stay focused. Ma'am will be leaving in half an hour. So let's come back to writing story, okay? So what will you think when you are having a story, when you are having an idea? I want you to think about the end. Because otherwise, do you know what will happen? You will sit down with your ideas. You will sit down to write a story, then you don't know how it will end. Then you will get up and leave. You will not feel like writing it. Because this is one issue writers feel. Ma'am writes a lot of stories and I write a lot of screenplays. You know what a screenplay is? You know what a screenplay is? Yes. Screenplay is when you have a story and when you're writing the screenplay, when you're writing the story for the screen, for the movies. When you're writing the stories for screen, that is called screenplay. So when ma'am sits down to write, I always think, how should my story end? Should I make it a sad one? Should I make it a happy one? Or should I keep it an open ending? What is an open ending story? The audience can think whatever they want to think. That is an open ending. Continuation, correct. No conclusion. You are left to think whatever you want to think. Whether, you know, the characters can walk away to the sunset in Marina Beach. Whether they lived happily ever after or they fought with each other, it is up to the reader's conclusion. So that is called open end. So there are three kinds of ending. One is like, you know, you can make it happy, you can make it sad. So all the characters have a goal, isn't it? All the stories have characters, isn't it? So where do you get all these characters to write from? Where are these characters coming from in the stories? How are these authors bringing all these characters? Vyukt is saying something. Unmute. In real life. But imagination is here, right? From where are you bringing all these characters? Our life experience. But what if we run out of experiences? We have limited experience, right? Just now I said, wherever you are, you have to observe others. We have to observe others. Other people are the characters, going to be characters in your story. Observation. When you are observing, you are going for summer holidays, you are going to a swimming camp. Earlier what you will do, you will learn and you will come back. But now you are all going to be aspiring writers, authors. So I want you to observe. I want you to observe who all are coming in the swimming pool, what all are they doing. Is there a child who is very scared? Is there a very strict parent who is telling the child to jump into the pool? So these are characters, and Avyukta is saying from imagination. So from these observations in life, you have to imagine little bit extra. You have to imagine. Can you do that for me? So writing means little bit observation, 50% observation and 50% imagination. But the source should come from your human camera. Which is your human camera? Eyes. And data, you need to store it in your brain. And whatever you're observing, the people you're observing, you have to come back home and put little bit of imagination. Like the beach auntie, or uncle who is selling the corn, will smear little bit of chili powder, right? Or little bit of lemon they will squeeze, that extra, for that extra flavor. A writer should add little bit of imagination like that into whatever you're observing. Will you do it? So it is a balancing act. Whatever you're observing, you have to add little bit of tadka, we'll say, little bit of flavoring you need to add. Flavor is the imagination. What happens when, have you encountered writer's block? Have you heard about this word? What is writer's block? Writer's block is, it's not block, traffic block we'll say, like that. Writers will have writer's block. Do you know when writer's block will come? When we don't go out and experience life, writer's block will come. So if you're sitting at your home only playing video game, not interacting with anyone, writer's block will come. You will run out of ideas. And if you're only listening to music, and if you're only watching movies, and if you're only reading books, what will happen? We will get influenced by what we are reading. And we will be producing what is like a copy of what we read. Or a movie which we watched, we'll be making a story like a copy of that movie story, or a copy of what we read. But instead of that, if we are going out, even it can be till the supermarket. We are going with our parents to the supermarket. We are observing the people who are coming there. How the supermarket is arranged. Because from now onwards, you are all going to be writers. I want you to observe life around you. I want you to listen and observe life around you. It can be a simple visit to the supermarket. Ecosystem is a big word. Thank God you didn't say galaxy. So I want you to observe and listen, and what you can do to avoid writer's block is already think about the ending. How I want my story to end. Once you decide what the ending is, then only you should sit down and write. Okay, because whenever ma'am writes a story, this is what ma'am does. Just because I got an idea, just because I'm having some ideas, I will not sit down and write. I will think, does my story have an ending? Does my story have a good ending? It can be sad, happy, it can be open to your feedbacks. Yes, we have to plan and write how it is going to pan out, how this idea will pan out. We have to plan, then only you should sit and write. Otherwise, writer's block will come. You will write the beginning, you are so enthusiastic, you will start writing a story. Till middle you wrote, then you don't know how you to end it. Or you don't know what will happen in the middle. What will happen in the middle? What happens in the middle of the story? Problem, correct. A conflict will happen. Conflict will happen and we need to resolve that conflict, isn't it? A solution. That is what is happening in the middle. So all these things you have to plan in your mind. Action, reaction, everything you need to plan. Then I want you to sit and write. Just because you got some ideas, don't sit and write. I want you to think about it. Plot. Plot is what is happening and the reaction to it. Okay. Story arc, plots are big words, but I want you to understand. That's why I'm explaining what is story arc and plot. And one more exercise I want you guys to do. That is, what is perspective? Viewpoints. Viewpoints of whom? Viewpoint of whom? Of us. Different opinions. Viewpoint of everyone. Vishan said viewpoint of everyone. Yes. So, have you ever played chess all alone? Have you played chess all alone? Many have played chess all alone. So what we do when you are playing chess all alone? We are doing one move and we are thinking that other person will do the other move, isn't it? So an author, all these observations, now you have to listen to me very carefully. Listen to me very carefully. An author is like somebody who plays chess all alone. I asked you to observe, I asked you to listen to the sounds around you, and when you are sitting down to write a story, what you should do is, you will have to write everybody's point of view. Only there is one author, but there are so many characters. So what you should do, you have to write from everybody's point of view. So an author is somebody like a person who plays chess all alone. My move also I have to do, and the other person's move also I have to imagine and write. So you can only do this if you are observing. You need to interact with people. You need to talk to others. You need to listen to others. You need to ask questions. You need to ask questions to others. And in a polite way you can ask. Somebody said, no, politely we have to ask elders, otherwise they will think we are being very nosy, isn't it? So when your domestic help akka is coming to your house, you can ask, akka hola there in your house? What are they doing? Then she'll start sharing her story. But you should not feel like, oh, she's telling her story, I have to run away. See, as an author, these are all data. These are all informations you're feeding in, because tomorrow when you're writing a story and if there is a helping akka in the story, you can use her point of view, perspective you can use. You can politely ask who all are there in your house. It's not a very offensive question. And people love to talk. Do you know that? People love to talk. Only thing you have to ask them is how are you, or how is your day today. They will just start sharing. So I want you to do an exercise. Imagine you are traveling in a car. You are traveling in a car with your parents, and in the traffic a child is coming to sell something to you. So what is the perspective? You are in the car or you are in the bike or scooter with your parents, and a child is coming to sell the red roses or something, pen, they are coming to sell to you. What is your perspective? Empathy. What? I want you to elaborate. What you are feeling. Empathy is a feeling. But what are you feeling? Like as a writer, how will you write? No, I'm asking your perspective. You are sitting in the car. What are you observing? I want you to write what all you are observing sitting inside the car. So imagine camera, your eyes are your camera. So you are observing from inside the car or sitting in the bike. These are all like your thoughts. He has no family. You are thinking he has, yeah, sad face. You observed sad face. That is thought. They are underprivileged and they want money is your thought. But what are you observing? From your point of view, what are you observing? Yeah, other people who doesn't like him, they are chasing him, no? That you observed. These are feelings you are writing. What all you observed in him. So here comes the details. Details exercise which I told you, no? I want you to observe his clothes. Details. A writer should have observation for details. Small things you have to observe. Sad face. Somebody said, yeah, dirty clothes is a better adjective, isn't it? He has dirty. Torn cloth is an adjective. Pens and flowers, Hanvi said, yes, those are details. Or ragged clothes, sad face. Maybe dirty nails, no? Sometimes they'll have dirty nails. Correct? Yeah, some children wear big clothes, no? Avyukt has written, some children wear big clothes. That's a good observation. Some have long duster. They sell duster. Very good. So, ma'am wants you to focus on details. Okay, whenever you are in a place, I want you to observe. Observe the details. So now, details for his hair. Now observe his hair. Unhygienic, dry, no? Sometimes it's dry, right? Not combed properly. So as a writer, when you're writing a story or a situation, I want you to write in details. Can you do that for me? I want you to write in details. All these are characters. So now I want you to imagine, okay, now I want you to imagine, stop typing. I want you to imagine that you are selling the pen and flowers. And there is a girl or a boy sitting inside a car, AC car or a scooter. So now what all are the things you are going to observe? You are the child who is selling these things. Now what will... I want elaborate. I want you to elaborate. Why they are mean? I want you to elaborate. Yeah, how nice they look. Jealousy is an emotion. So I want you to elaborate why the child is feeling jealousy. Details, I want details. Ma'am wants details. What are you observing from his point of view or perspective? Watch, okay. That attitude, no, some people will be rude to them. That emotion of the child is Sanvi has written. Child is feeling desperate that nobody is buying anything. Nice clothes he is observing. Happy people are sitting inside. We shan't have to elaborate because why? What does the other child has? What if they are kind people? What if they're kind people? For example, what auntie does, do you know what auntie does? Auntie will always have biscuits and cakes in my handbag. And whenever I am in a traffic block, I give these biscuits and cakes to the people who come to sell these things. So this is what ma'am does. Ma'am will always have that cake, no? Wonder cakes, those cakes will come, no? Some biscuits packets. So whenever they are coming to buy something or whenever they are going to sell something, I will not buy it from them, but I will give them these food. Because money may not go and end up with them, isn't it? Money, the adults or somebody grown up will take the money from them. So if you are giving them food, they will eat it. So this is perspective. Are you able to understand perspective? Again, you have to do a lot of perspective exercise by yourself. You have to imagine like from both sides. You're going to buy vegetables. How many of you go and buy vegetables from a vegetable vendor instead of supermarket? Dave goes, that entire group goes, okay. So this is another observation what you can do. When you are sitting inside a car, again you can observe a vegetable vendor, what they are doing. But if we listen to the radio all the time, if we listen to radio FM all the time, what are we missing? We are missing the sounds. We are missing the sounds, noises which is happening outside. So what will happen? As a writer, you will get very less ideas to write. So you don't have to go to a vegetable vendor. You can observe the vegetable vendor by sitting inside your car or while waiting in the traffic block. You can watch a vegetable vendor. Then there is this akka who sells jasmine flowers, right? Again, I want you to do perspective exercise. I want you to imagine from the akka's point of view. From the akka's point of view, from the jasmine seller, your mother is buying some jasmine flowers. What is the seller seeing? The seller is seeing an adorable child and his or her mother approaching her to buy jasmine flowers. That is her perspective. So perspective exercise, how will you do perspective exercise? This camera, you will have to think from their point of view. Then you will understand what they are seeing. Correct. Will feel bad, she is working at that age. But if we are kind to her, if we talk to her kindly, she will remember us, isn't it? Sometimes that akka will have a very good family. We never know. They might be poor, but they might have a very good family. So, can you just tell me what all we discussed today? Listening, perspective, journal. And one more thing ma'am wants to tell you, okay? This is very, very important. I want you to stop typing and listen to me. What is positive criticism, constructive criticism and destructive criticism? What is constructive criticism? What is criticism? Can anyone say criticize? Somebody is criticizing you. Hey, this story is not nice. This is not good. Somebody is telling you. How will you feel? Yeah, constructive is helping. Feel hurt and bad. Correct, no? But somebody is telling you, this story is not very good, but you can do this and this to improve it. How will you feel? They are giving you positive feedbacks to improve. Then that is constructive. Constructing. See, you are constructing something, you are building something. So when you are going to write stories, there will be people who will criticize you. There will be people who say the story is not good. This is average story. You should not stop writing by it. I want all of you to keep writing. Can you do that? I want all of you to keep writing. There are two types of people. One group will criticize you all the time. Oh, this is not nice, that is not nice, this is not nice. But don't get hurt by those people. Then the second group is, what you have to think is, oh, these people are just criticizing me all the time. But the second group is, they will criticize you, but they will tell you how to improve. Those people are giving you constructive criticism. And the destructive criticism, ma'am wants all of you to ignore it. People who are just criticizing you and not giving you any feedbacks, there's no point in listening to them, right? They don't know how to help you, but they are very quick in criticizing you. So you are all aspiring writers. So when you are starting to write stories, you will get criticism. But that should not stop you from writing stories. Okay? Do you have any doubts to ask?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, Chitra, I can hear you. I can hear you.
It was a very nice session, and now the children will be asking me questions. Okay, so individually I'll send.
Yeah.
So I'm Raksha and I have a question for you.
Hi, Raksha.
What inspired you to become a screenplay writer?
Ma'am used to write a lot of stories in school days. I used to write a lot of stories for my school magazine. I'm sure you have school magazines, right? So in my school magazines, I used to write articles. I used to write stories. And there was something called, I don't know, even now it is there, Young World. In Indian Express it comes, in Indian Express, Young World, Children's World, that newspaper it will come, no, on Sundays. How many of you read newspapers? Very good. So even if it's a digital world, I want all of you to read newspapers. So there is something called Children's World, Young World. These are supplement newspapers just for children. So I used to write articles for my school magazine, and also I used to send these articles to newspapers, children's column. And my stories and my articles used to get selected. I used to write funny stories. I used to write about my music teacher. I used to write how the school assembly is, my experience in school assembly, like my experience about this music teacher. I used to write and I used to send it to the newspaper and in my school magazine. So from there I got encouragement, and that's how I understood that I can write stories, I'm good at writing stories, I need to keep practicing. But any skill you have, you need to practice it, otherwise you will not develop it. Okay, so school magazine is the best place to start writing.
So, what are the challenges you faced while writing many stories?
What's your name?
Esther Rishita.
Rishita. Esther.
I am Rishita and I'm going to ask you a question. So, what are the challenges you faced while writing stories?
Hi Rishita. So the challenges which I faced are rejection. So everybody will not like your stories. That doesn't mean you should stop writing. Everybody has different taste. Some like thrillers, some like detective stories, some like soft family stories they like, some like children's stories, then some like galaxy and space stories. So just because somebody is saying I don't like your story, that was one of my biggest challenges to overcome rejection. What is rejection? I don't like it. Somebody is telling I don't like it. So that means that person likes some other stories. It is not because your story is bad. Okay, because see, you are telling a story to somebody who doesn't like space stories. You have written a space story, Star Wars. But you are somebody who you don't watch those things. Then you will say, no, I don't like this story. I like a family story where there is a father, mother, grandparents, and you are going and writing a story, family story, and you are telling a person who likes thrillers, detective novels, children's detective stories, that famous 5, Secret 7, Enid Milton stories are there, no? So that is my challenge, because I will get a lot of rejections. Everybody will not like my story, but I should not stop writing stories because somebody said they don't like my story. Okay, you should continue doing it, and till you meet the person who like your kind of stories.
Hi, I am Advika.
Hi, Advika.
And my question is, from when did you start writing these stories?
I started writing stories from school days. And those days my stories were not so good. Trust me, my stories were not good when I started writing. I used to write like inspired stories. I will read fairy tales and I will remake it and I'll adapt it and write it. But then people will find out, oh, this is Beauty and the Beast. No, they will tell, you have remade it, you have adapted it. They'll find out that I have got inspired from that story. So that is the reason why I said if you read only books or if you watch only movies, you will get inspired and you will write stories like that. So I started writing from a very young age, like high school onwards, 6th standard, 7th standard, like.
Ma'am, who are the people who have supported you throughout your journey? And my name is Avyut. Like Chitra ma'am or somebody like that?
The people who have supported me, the best critic was my brother. See, somebody said they don't like their cousin, they are afraid their brother or sister will read the story. The best critics are your own people, actually. My brother, even today, he criticizes my story. But I don't get disheartened, because that is his point of view and his perspective. And there are friends who tell me this is not nice, you could have done better. So your friends and your siblings are the best critics, and the best critics are the best supporters. It's very strange, no? Somebody who's giving you feedback and criticizing, you are actually your best supporters. Because see, imagine they are taking the time to listen to your story and they are thinking about it and they are giving you feedback. So that means they are making an effort. They are finding time to listen to your story and they are thinking about it, and if they are giving you a feedback, that means they are definitely giving you their time. That means you are important for them. So best supporters are your best critics. So don't hate your siblings, okay, if they criticize your story.
My name is Alamelu.
Hi Alamelu, cute name you have.
Do you think your lifestyle or background influences your stories?
100%, because you have to read a lot, you have to read different types of stories. Just because I like only this, I will read only that. So last time what ma'am read was, the last book ma'am read was folk tales from all over India. India has 22 languages, 22 regional languages we have, isn't it? Different states, even tribal people speak in different language. So the last book ma'am read was folk tales from all over India. So right now, after finishing that book, right now the book which ma'am is reading is Andre Agassi. Andre Agassi is a tennis player. So he has written an autobiography. So that is the book ma'am is reading. Can you see? I am shifting from folk tales of India to Andre Agassi I am reading. Then I am reading Michelle Obama, Barack Obama's wife, the American president's wife. She has written a book. So the background always matters, what we are reading. Then you need to step out of your house. You have to travel. I know there are so many children who are introverts, who doesn't like to mingle with too many strangers. In the comfort of your house is best among your parents and relatives. But if you are going to write, you have to mingle with others, talk to others. So that background matters. You have to travel. It can be a temple visit or a church visit. It can be to the local ice cream parlor. It can be to the cafe where you are having a ice cream with your mother. But all these are, you have to step out, these backgrounds, lifestyle. Okay, you need to read a lot. My reading has helped me in my writing. My lifestyle, I mingle with a lot of people. And I'll tell you one more thing, ma'am is actually an introvert. Can anyone believe I'm an introvert? I am an introvert. I like to sit at home. If I have a book to read, I don't want to step out of my house. I'll read a book, I'll write my stories and I'll sit at home. But if I do that, it will affect me. It will not help me as a writer. So because of that, what ma'am will do? I need to get out of my house. I need to meet people. I'll tell myself and I'll get dressed. I'll go out, meet people, talk to them. Otherwise, I'll get stuck as a writer. So background and lifestyle definitely helps. Read a lot of books, hang out a lot, meet people, interact with everyone, okay?
Thank you, Ms. Sri Lakshmi. That was a wonderful experience. Though we had few glitches and all in the beginning, I hope the children also had a.
I hope I am able to clear all of their doubts, because they are asking some amazing questions.
Are you able to?
Yeah, I'm able to hear you. Like, I hope I cleared everyone's doubts, because they're asking me some amazing doubts.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for having me. I had a lot of fun interacting with them. Thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you.